Are we on? Hello?
We're
Hello?
on. We are on, my friend. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, coming in live from the beach.
That look at those waves. And what's
Yep.
remarkable about you're close enough to where you can still see the wind blowing at a speed fast enough to where it would make that type of movement, but you can't hear it at all. So
Yo,
that's a
yeah. I'm in one of those tents. I'm in one of the something like a little outdoor tent, so you can't hear anything or but you can see it.
because as we all know, tents are known for their stability. And
Yeah, it's a stable, quiet tent. And then I just left the back. This is the back flap. I left that wide open just to show it where I'm at. The season was over. I figured time to go on vacation.
fakecation, is that what you said?
Vacation. No, this is a real vacation. 100%. I am where I am, and I was like, well, football's done for me. And then time to hit the road.
Hit the road and then the sand.
Yep. This is,
But you're
it's our last episode.
depending on if we want to discuss the GM hire and the coach hire and then maybe the draft. We got a little we can pencil in, but this is our last season.
This is our last season. This is
Yeah.
the end of our season.
But I mean, do we even really want to talk about that game outside of maybe the referees? Because what did it matter?
True, but let's talk about some of the fun things we saw,
We only lost by 2.
Yeah. We lost by 2 because our offense, like I've been saying, is functioning.
It is functioning with Matthew Stafford, a hobbled Matthew Stafford going 20 of 31 for 293, 3 touchdowns and a sack. Adrian Peterson putting up 63 yards on the ground for 7 carries. DeAndre Swift up there as well with 12 carries for 54 yards. Each of those fellas had a touchdown. And then, I mean, let's talk about Marvin Jones's terrific game. 8 receptions on 11 targets for 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. His long was 43, but I think he had a couple over 40.
Oh
Quintez
yeah,
Cephas had 2 for 51 and a touchdown. His long was 31. He was only on 3 targets. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
look at
the
that.
offense is functioning.
It was functioning, and everyone's like, "Oh, we need a receiver. What are we gonna do with Kenny Galladay?" I mean, it looks like Marvin Jones and Cephas were doing okay. Jones almost had 4 touchdowns?
Jones had 2 touchdowns.
2? He almost had 3,
But he
but
almost had 3.
he should have had 3. 100%. That should have been 3 touchdowns and a lot way more as a big bomb.
Really got hosed there. And I like to say this. I wrote this little ditty for a 51st jokes situation a couple years ago. Actually, it was 3 or 4 years ago, and it still applies today. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. Only in the NFL do the zebras hunt the lions.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's good.
that's a
And
good
boy,
one.
oh boy, are they successful at
Mm.
it.
Who knew zebras could be such avid predators?
Boy, oh boy. That
Hey,
was
you know what?
that.
You know what? The NFL zebras are more predatorial than a certain former Lions head coach. Talking about Patricia.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, he's a
Allegedly.
predator, all right. Yeah, allegedly. He's allegedly a predator. Yeah, but confirmed a piece of garbage.
Oh yeah, wearing those
Um,
hefty bags.
yeah, did we had we must have had the ref D squad out there. I didn't
I mean,
recognize any of those refs either. I don't know what are these? Was these old replacements? Who are
let
these
me
guys?
see. Let me see if I can find out who they were.
Who were these awful refs that see a touchdown catch, call it a touchdown, and then go, there's not enough info to reverse the call or like say it's a touchdown, so they reverse it? Like they didn't even have a proper they didn't even go with the original call.
I'm seeing that the referee who called the roughing the passer call, his name was Adrian Hill, and I'm not familiar with him, but he claims that Tracy Walker landed on him with all of his weight, and that constitutes a roughing the passer. However, if you look at the film, he just fell on him. It's like he pulled up. Even Kirk Cousins says, "Hey man, I don't agree with that call, but I'm going to take it." He said that to Tracy Walker.
Oh yeah, of course you take the call if you're Kirk Cousins. But yeah, he didn't. He like hit him, and then he was even trying to spin off the man. Like there was nothing more he could have done because he was coming through the momentum, and then he just had to like rotate a little bit. That is the worst rule
That
And
was a
of course, it's a Rodgers rule. Of course, the Lions are still getting screwed by Green Bay while we play the Vikings.
that was a very, very bad call and a complete judgment call. I mean, I can't believe someone from that referee team didn't come over and say, like, hey man, come on. What are you doing? That wasn't we already pulled that touchdown from him. And now you're going to say that it was a third down, or was it a fourth down too? It gave them a whole new set of
Yeah,
downs.
it was a big third. It was a big third down stop. I remember it was a huge stop. I was like, oh heck yeah! And then they just like, give them a whole new try. And then they call that terrible call. So it was that call. It was the not a touchdown process.
Jones.
Apparently,
Whew.
they saw something that nobody else saw, or they just
Mhm.
weren't feeling it. And then there was another one. I think it was Swift or Peterson. I can't remember which one got in, but they were running it on like is on the goal line.
Mhm.
And then one ref was like a touchdown. Another ref didn't call. It's like it's not a touchdown. The refs weren't even on the same page.
Mm-mm.
The whole crew was
Mm-mm.
like, and the other one was like, I don't know. Then they're like, oh. And then eventually they looked at it because they were like, they're terrible at their jobs. And why were the refs jobbing us in a meaningless game?
Well,
Why even?
at least we lost the game, as we are so used to having happened. At least we lost the game due to the referees, as opposed to the Philadelphia Eagles, who just threw that game.
Oh yeah. At least the refs. I guess the refs are secret Lions fans. We're like, well, they actually need the draft position, so let's just make sure that we make them lose the game. Like, oh wow, you guys are secretly on our side. It didn't look like it, but I think the refs were actually working for us.
Jeff Scheen coming into 2021 with just optimism, delusional optimism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone's like these refs jobbed us, but actually the refs were working for us.
Now, it's more likely that the referees always hate the Detroit Lions. Let's just go and what's your wildest idea? What's your fantasy? Why do you think the profession of referees hate the Lions as much as they apparently do?
Oh, I think it's a subconscious thing.
Okay.
To be honest, I think it is
You
I
think
mean,
something happened to all of them at their childhood and it's buried deep down?
well, I think I've complained and I'll always say the NFL is rigged because I kind of believe it is. I believe at least it's a slight rigging. I think the NFL leans towards its bigger market teams and will
Sure.
always favor them and like always kind of like side with the bigger market teams.
Is
Like I mean, they made
Kansas City a bigger market team though?
yeah, but I mean, you can get out of that. That's why I say it's a slight rig. If
Okay.
you have to overcome the slight rigging against your being a small market team
All
through
right.
great, I mean, Hall of Fame quarterbackship. The only way to overcome it is to be the best quarterback in 30 years. You know what I mean? Like they've always like leaned against, the smaller. Like look at Cleveland, look at Bills. They're finally getting it together. But I mean, they had to do so much. Like number one overall quarterbacks, great. I mean, they put together fantastic teams to overcome the slight NFL rigging of wanting a Giants Patriots Super Bowl every damn year.
Okay.
I mean, look at the Harbaugh Bowl was to me the most blatant rigging. I mean, the odds of two brothers meeting in the Super Bowl just seemed so convenient to me. Like it was like, oh no, they're doing great. Like I don't know, they're both pretty good teams, but to make them actually like, holy smokes, brothers head to head, that's an astronomical like way to have the Super Bowl play out. So I think the NFL
Another
is like, let's kind of make a Harbaugh Bowl happen. And they
Another
did.
one was the 2001 after 9/11 happened. That was the first year of the Patriots dynasty.
Yeah, that's another one. Patriots are big. Peyton Manning gets a ring with Denver. There's just so
Mm-hmm.
many convenient stories to me that it has to be slightly rigged.
Okay, I can buy that.
And with the Lions getting jobbed, I think is in the refs, it's a subconscious type thing because everyone's like, oh, the Lions are a bad team. They were always bad. Just put them in the basement, whatever. They're the team to get better on. They're the team to practice on. They suck. They probably did something wrong. Lions. It's always the other team that are like, oh, they're the better team. And every time the Lions do win, it's always against a dog crap team like Jacksonville, where then it's in the head that, oh, Jacksonville's the bad team.
Yeah.
So the Lions get the favorable calls.
Do you think that it's so you think it's like market, you think it's a rational explanation. You think it's
Yeah, I think
the NFL Illuminati.
Yeah, I think NFL leans big market is always going to be like when they take it to the top officiating, they'll always lean towards the big market team because they want them to go further in the playoffs and win more because I mean the Lions make it to the playoffs. How many people are going to be like, oh, we got to watch the Lions? It's not going to be as many people as Green
Right.
Bay. You'll get
Unless
way
there
more
is a
eyes.
high profile
Yeah,
storyline.
right. Unless we get a quarterback in a State Farm or a Progressive commercial. Which is always what happens. You get a quarterback in an insurance company commercial, you're making the playoffs 7 out of 10 years.
You get us an Oster Pistorius type kicker, and we're in the playoffs that year. Someone who's overcome a physical disability. That's the same person who's winning America's Got Talent. You want that sob story so everybody can come around it. I'd like to just real quick go back and why didn't you acknowledge that terrific play on words that I threw out as to who makes the decisions on the rigging? NFLuminatii? Come on.
Oh, that one flew over my head.
That one's fun. That's a fun one.
That one completely, yep, it flew over. That one, yeah, it's Illuminati. I think I was so serious talking about it. Yeah, of course it's Illuminati because it's rigged.
You don't understand, man. There's a temple. There's a third eye.
Yeah, but stop making jokes right now. I'm talking about something serious. There's a whole.
I'm telling you, Roger Goodell's basement, the side that they're not showing you from that webcam is a bulletin board, and there is string taped up all over the place. None of it's Honolulu blue.
There's something going on because look at the Chiefs, look at Green Bay. Baker Mayfield is in commercials for I can't remember. Is it State Farm? He's in some kind of insurance commercial.
Geico maybe Progressive. I don't know. It's an insurance commercial.
Every quarterback
it's a home insurance. Yeah.
Every quarterback with an insurance company is making the playoffs. Baker Mayfield got himself some commercials, 2 years ago, maybe? And then finally they're like, all right, he's now known because of the insurance commercials. Now we can put him in the playoffs.
That's the conspiracy. We've got to get Matthew Stafford, if he stays, we got to get him in with like the general or something.
Yeah, we need, the next quarterback we draft, the first thing we should be prioritizing is getting him in commercials.
No, not just any commercials. Let's get that clear.
Yeah, yes,
insurance commercials.
Yes, he needs it. Yeah, Subway commercials don't seem to work. JJ Watt has been in Subway commercials for years, and look at the Texans. So, you want insurance commercials?
I think you know what? I had another theory, but I'm just going to go ahead and shelve it because that is bulletproof.
Yeah, I mean, it's sound. If you look at everything, I think it works. So, whoever we draft next, like you said, call the general. Whether insurance companies, maybe, I don't know what we're missing, but put them in those commercials. And then the NFL will see, okay, people are watching his commercials, and I think State Farm wants some more airtime. So let's get him into the playoffs.
Peyton Manning was doing nationwide for a while.
Yeah, see? Peyton Manning's doing nationwide.
I'm looking to see if I can figure out any other ones. It's not everybody, though.
Yeah, a lot of it. Tom Brady has footage on Roger Goodell. That's the only other one. That's that one. I don't know. He hasn't done anything, but he doesn't have to because he's got some kind of dirt. So
all right. So it doesn't come down to the draft this year. It doesn't come down to who we hire as free head coach. It doesn't come down to who we hire as general manager. It comes down to sponsorships. Spokespeople.
I think Ford Motor Company. I mean, Ford is totally tied in with car insurance companies.
I know.
How can Ford not link that together? Ford needs to I don't know why Ford doesn't put our quarterbacks in their commercials. Put Stafford behind a steering wheel of an F-150.
Stafford was in one. I don't know if it was this year or last year, but I do remember I've seen him in like a couple over the years, but they're regional spots. They're not national spots.
Yeah. Give our quarterbacks some national Ford commercials so then the NFL goes, oh, okay, they're actually showing off to the rest of the country. They deserve some more play time. Totally. That's the thing. But I don't know. Maybe Ford's pissed off the NFL. I don't know. Though there's a slight rigging. And honestly, I think the Lions should have gone the Eagles route and just tanked on purpose. And I loved what the Eagles did. I thought that was great. I am pro the Eagles move of a blatant tanking.
It was, I mean, and it screwed us out of a pick. We would have gone up to 6 if they would
Oh,
have won that game.
if they won, well,
Yeah.
you know, I respect what the Eagles did. You know, screw the NFL and its money grubbing hands of just move this game to prime time because we got competitiveness. And the Eagles, like, you know, why would we win to make you guys money when we need the pick? Screw off. Look at
They
this.
would have
Look what we're
dropped to
going to do
9.
now. Yeah, we're going to ruin this game for you, you money greedy pieces of crap of a league. How dare you? People
Do
say
you
the
think
Eagles
do you
ruined
think
the game. NFL ruined the game by moving it to prime time and expecting them to play their hearts out for nothing so that they get more revenue.
Do you think Roger Goodell has had Doug Peterson come to his home office or the NFL office, and he is just dazed and confused, paddling him right now, like just punishing him? He's like, "You went,
Oh yeah, no more,
Mr.
Nice
Nice."
Guy.
You see Roger Goodell take his tie and throw it over his shoulder, and he's like, "You know, you had this coming, Dougie." He calls him Dougie.
I hope not, because that means Roger Goodell is getting some kind of pleasure and he won. Screw Goodell. How dare you? Just
Goodell's over there paddling him, and like all the NFLuminatii people are in there, just like in their hoods of whatever, like their team color hood. Like Belichick's got a navy blue and a red trim hood on, and they are just really getting off to some weird voyeurism.
I mean, I'd believe it. Just, hats off to the Eagles. I just
But
love it. Everyone was mad. I was loving it.
so that's the type of coaching you're looking for. We've got to discuss some coaching possibilities.
Of course.
All
Yes,
of
I am
our
looking for that.
Ooh,
I want
but
some
before we
middle
get to
fingers
that,
to the NFL.
but
Go
before
on.
we get to that, have you seen what Jeff Okuda said
Oh yes, I did see that. He said,
about
yeah,
everybody should be transparent and there shouldn't be hidden agendas? Dude, without calling out Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn by name, context clues point directly to the former leadership. Jeff Okuda was not happy with Matt Patricia, and I just wish he would have said something a little more definitive. They're not with the team anymore, but I guess he has to, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you play it safe. He knew, we knew. You know, we all know. You didn't have to come out and say it. Enough players have come out and said that Patricia stunk, and then even the rookie comes over here like, yeah, the rookie that came from a college program comes to an NFL team is like, wow, this is poorly run, which is insane.
Well, they did say one of Jeff Okuda's strongest attributes was he was a very intelligent player. He could really read things. He knew how to read a play. He knew how to read a room.
Yeah, he knew how to read a room. Yeah, he walked in. He goes, "How we doing? You guys talk or listen to music?" Like, no, we're not allowed.
No, we're not allowed. He's gonna hear you.
No, he won't let us listen to. He only lets us listen to Pantera. None of us like Pantera.
What is going on? He's like, what is that big pile of dirt out there? He goes, oh, he's installing a hill.
Yeah, he's putting up more hills for us to walk, run up and down while he blasts Pantera. I don't even know who that is.
You know, they're saying Matt Patricia is a big candidate to go down to work with either Nick Saban in Alabama as some sort of defensive specialist coordinator. They're saying he could go running back to daddy and get a job with Bill Belichick. Or I'm reading he could very likely go down to Miami, ended up being the defensive coordinator there.
At Miami.
Yeah.
Oh, because of Miami's head coach is New England, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, that would make sense. But I mean, is Miami supposed to be losing their defensive coordinator? Like, why wouldn't they just stick with who they got?
I mean, they weren't great.
They weren't. Were they mostly? I didn't really watch many Miami games.
Someone named Blake Baker is the defensive coordinator. No. That's Miami Hurricane. What? I don't want Miami. This is an NFL show.
Oh, yeah.
Don't give me college.
I don't know if I'd want to send Patricia down to Miami. He seems
Josh Boyer.
He seems to get real rapey around beaches.
Could you imagine? I mean, like he's wearing that teal that they've got. Can you imagine the sweat coming through the teal and orange? I mean, my God.
Oh yeah, good Lord, wearing his
Ugh.
gator.
um, okay, so let's get to the general manager, head coaching candidates. It seems like they're finalized. Head coaching, we have interviewed Marvin Lewis, Eric Benamy. Today is Daryl Bevel. Sometime this week, I believe Thursday is Robert Saleh.
Ooh, Thursday's a big day.
Thursday's the big day. And then next week, we are said to have interviews lined up with Titans offensive coordinator Arthur Smith and Saints assistant head coach Dan Campbell, former Lions tight end, by the way.
Interesting. Dan Campbell.
Of
Old
those
Lions.
names, your boy is not there. Jim Harbaugh not mentioned as a potential interview candidate. How does that make you feel?
I mean, it just feels like we just don't want to win. It just feels like the Lions are giving up, and they're just rolling over. And...
the Harbaugh Bowl didn't get high enough ratings for them, so they're deterring a Jim Harbaugh return. Like, you know what? When they played against each other, it wasn't good enough. Let's keep one in college and one in. We'll cover both markets.
Yeah, they could have had another Harbaugh Bowl. Did he decide to stay in Michigan? What happened with Jim Harbaugh?
He said the last I read was he was interested in NFL contracts, but was also working on a contract extension with Michigan. So who knows?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I remember hearing talks of the extension. I just didn't know if that went through. Okay, well.
Another notable off the list that you would be happy about, Urban Meyer, not on the list.
Because Urban Meyer is supposedly going to the Jags.
But the Chargers have since emerged as a potential suitor for him as well. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't want to get into it too much, but their situation is wonderful.
Oh, yeah, the Jags have the best. That would be the best spot to go to.
Absolutely. Yeah. They have the
I'm surprised Urban Meyer wouldn't just go to the Jags because he could get Justin Fields. I mean, he probably guess he'd want Trevor Lawrence because he's better, supposedly, but maybe he didn't look better when they played each other,
Nope. He's got the number one pick, so he can get Lawrence or Fields. He's got 10 picks after that. They have over $100 million in cap space, and he gets full control of the team. He'd be one of the highest paid coaches. Reports are out there saying that $12 million a year is what he wants, but since have been refuted, saying I don't think he wants $12 million. He wants to be compensated more along the lines of what I believe I'm drawing a blank on the Panthers coach. Matt Rule got a 7-year, $70 million. He wants it around $10 million a year is what would be reasonable. Because Gruden also has a 10 for 100.
Oh, okay. So he's like, hey, I don't need 12. Take a couple million off.
No big deal.
I can live with 10 million. I was like, oh, thanks, Urban Meyer. You're such a good guy. He's like, most of the time. Sometimes I turn a blind eye.
You want me to turn a blind eye and not make a big speech? You're going to have to throw in that extra too. $2 million buys my silence. Hush money. That's the hush money contract or clause in my contract.
Where's my hush money? So, I mean, that's because of good interviews. Thursday, like I said, is the big day. That's the one. I mean, from everything I'm reading, it sounds like it's going to be, if he wants it, I think the job is Salah's. Am I saying that right? Saleh.
Yeah, Robert Saleh. I really, really hope you are right. We've gone ad nauseum about how romantic is the story. What a fairy tale
story. You have a fairy tale. The NFL might like that story,
He's absolutely
you want the NFL to like your story.
You know what? If we can't get a quarterback insurance spokesman, we need a hometown boy done good by a struggling franchise who hasn't won a game in the playoffs in almost 30 years.
Yep. And he's
that's a great story.
Yep. Person of color, another big plus in the marketing. Rule. Yep. There you go. The NFL. I mean, honestly,
and by the way, a terrific coach.
Yeah, great coach.
They had potential Pro Bowlers just go down. Yeah. He was still a top six defense.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how good of a coach he is. You got to have a story, okay? The NFL is the Hunger Games. It's not about surviving. You got to get people to like you so sponsors will help.
Ratings. Well, I'll be devastated if we don't get him, but Bleacher Report comes out and says today, was an article written today that says he is probably going to get the job in Atlanta. It says predicting who will fill each NFL head coaching vacancy in 2021. They've got Robert Saleh going to the Atlanta Falcons, and I will read what they
What?
says. It says, for a moment,
Why?
it looked like the Atlanta Falcons might roll with interim coach Raheem Morris. Morris took over after the Falcons fired head coach Dan Quinn and general manager Thomas Dimitroff amid an 0-5 start. And Morris, who went 17-31, blah, 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 a bunch on Morris. It would make sense for the Falcons to take another shot on a defensive-minded coach, though, as the current core around Matt Ryan on offense doesn't need grooming. San Francisco 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh is both one of the hottest names on the carousel and an ideal fit. After all, he is the type of culture changer that likely helped encourage Richard Sherman to follow him to a divisional rival. His defensive schemes speak for themselves in Seattle secondary for years and with his 49ers unit, despite season-ending injuries to Nick Bosa and others, still ranked among the top 5 against the pass. That's what it says, the reason he's going to go there. I don't understand why he wouldn't want to come home. The guy, he's got 6 kids. I believe his wife is pregnant with number 7. His brothers, his parents, everybody still lives here. He was born and raised in Michigan. I don't know why he wouldn't take this job. It's his.
Seems like he'd want to come here.
They have us taking. Who do you
Don't
think?
Say Marvin Lewis. Don't say Marvin Lewis. Are you gonna say if it? No,
I'm gonna
way.
say Marvin Lewis. Here's what. Now, listen, I will find a way to get on board with it, but if we hire Marvin Lewis because Robert Saleh decides to take a job elsewhere, fine. I can get on board with that. But if we choose to hire Marvin Lewis over Robert Saleh, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind because he is essentially Jim Caldwell 2.0. I love Jim Caldwell. I'm a big fan of him. Wish he never got fired, but the reason we fired him is because he didn't win in the postseason. He was 0-2, 0-3, whatever it was. Marvin Lewis, he turned around the Bengals. He made them relevant. They made the playoffs a lot. He was 0-7 in the postseason.
Yeah, Marvin Lewis. Yeah, he's a Jim Caldwell. Yeah, he's the Jim Caldwell light, I guess you could say.
This is what they say about Marvin Lewis. The Detroit Lions did what most everyone seemed to expect by firing Matt Patricia near the end of November after a 4-7 start, bringing his record to 13-29-1. Like Atlanta, the Lions might be in the win now mode around veteran passer Matthew Stafford, which opens the door to taking another shot on a defensive-minded coach who can rebuild the culture. Same paragraph they said before about Saleh. I don't know. I think the only reason they put Marvin Lewis here is because I think we're the only ones that have interviewed Marvin Lewis. Maybe Houston did, but he's not getting a lot of requests.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I was even surprised to see his name out there. I thought Marvin was out. I thought he was done. Just because he was at the Bengals for so many years and he didn't accomplish really anything. Granted, you could argue that was due to drafting and the poorly run organization, not maybe the coaching, but still.
He's considered, he's credited with turning Cincinnati, a quote, miserable franchise, into a playoff regular, though he did go 0-7 in the postseason. And after he got fired, the Bengals have gone 6-25-1 without him. A proven defensive guru who helped get elite Baltimore defenses in shape before leading defensive-minded teams in Cincinnati. Lewis would likely excel where Patricia underwhelmed. He also has a deep coaching tree of great offensive names who could join his staff, highlighted by Hugh Jackson and Jay Gruden. The only thing that I think Marvin Lewis has over Robert Saleh is that coaching tree.
Yeah, is the tree, and it is he's got head coach experience. He's got more experience.
Yep.
For sure, being a head coach. But it's just if we hired Marvin Lewis, it just smells like a very Lions move of being like, well, he did it before, but he didn't really accomplish much, but he did enough to keep people around. Let's see if he can do enough with us, but maybe a little more. It's like, I don't think he's gonna, man.
And it's the parallels of Jim Caldwell. It's like, hey, we made a mistake. It's like an overcorrection. I mean, at that point, why don't you just bring Jim Caldwell back? Why isn't he being interviewed? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, at that point, just bring him back. Yeah. Bring back Jim Caldwell and then just, I don't know, find and hire Marvin Lewis on as a defensive coordinator.
I'll be honest. The fact that Robert Saleh's first interview was with Atlanta and isn't interviewing with us until Thursday. The optimist in me is like, okay, he's getting his ducks in a row. He wants to be ready for the Lions interview. He wants a couple passes at teams he's not necessarily interested in.
Maybe
But on the
that
flip
could be
side
it.
is, are we not interviewing with enough of a sense of urgency? I mean, why would Sheila Ford Hamp not hire Robert Saleh when the Michigan legislature is mailing you literature saying hire this guy? Why would you not want the government in your back pocket owing you a favor? I've watched The Sopranos. I'm a big fan of The Godfather. Why would you not want the government in your back pocket?
Yeah, because then they could finally arrest Goodell. I don't know. Maybe they tried. They like, hey, what do you so we want to come in? And he's like, all right, well, I got this, this, and this. Like, well, how about Thursday? And they're like, relax. And I think maybe both sides are trying to play it cool, because I'm sure because they know they
I don't
got,
want them to think I like him too much.
right. Maybe they're both trying to like, he knows that they got a letter from the congressperson, they know he knows that, but they're like, oh, what letter? We don't even know who Salah, right? Yeah, we'd love you to come through and check it out.
Yeah,
He's like,
sure.
yeah, I
mean,
can squeeze by the Thursday, I'm with seeing the Atlanta Falcons,
no big deal, but
but I mean, I don't think there hasn't been any news about the Falcons interview. Like, there hasn't been anything like interview goes great. Salah came out with a Falcons hat on, be like, oh, I haven't said anything, but I think he wants to come here, and I think he's gonna, practicing, and we should know hopefully by the end of the week.
I hope you're right. However, we might not know until next week because initial interviews are set with next week with Titans offensive coordinator Arthur Smith and Saints assistant head coach and tight ends coach Dan Campbell. Both of which, I mean, Arthur Smith, I think he's the only candidate at this point who is being interviewed by every team with a position.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
So, I mean, that's something to be said. Also, interesting name not on this list. Buffalo offensive coordinator Brian Daboll.
I was wondering about him. Yeah, I'm surprised he's not on. Maybe he will. Maybe they'll try to reach out later on. I think also the Lions are just trying to do their due diligence and show to the fans that, like, look at, we're interviewing everyone. We're taking our time. We're doing like a full on. We're not going to jump and like get excited like we did with Patricia, because you remember that. I think they're trying to like not do what they did last time. So like, so we're trying to play it cool this time. So I think they're trying to like just interview everybody. They also reached out to they're trying to get Seattle's GM away from them, which I think is another thing to the fans. Like, we're trying to steal a great GM who's also connected to Salah.
He is. Their time overlapped while he was in Seattle. Executive VP and general manager John Schneider. I mean, that would be I would. The only thing that would blow my mind more is going out and getting the Steelers GM, Kevin Colbert, who's on a month to month. And I mean, I don't see that. They say that's like a damn near impossibility because he was born and raised in Pittsburgh, got his dream job. But the only reason that he could come here is because the Lions from 1990 to 99 gave him the shot as the director of pro scouting. Which, interestingly enough, about the GM position, we have someone very high up. I can't find their name or what the position is actually called.
Ooh,
my word, yeah,
a shadow person.
I read it. It's a guy who he handles the numbers. He handles cap stuff. So he doesn't. Our GM doesn't have to handle any of like, this is what the contract. Here's what the dead cap's going to be. Here's all this math stuff. They just want a guy to come in who knows how to scout. And Kevin Colbert and John Schneider, both at the top of the list as far as that game goes.
Yeah, we definitely need we need people that can spot talent, especially in the second round.
Yeah. Other people out there are former Texans GM Rick Smith, who's credited with DeAndre Hopkins, JJ Watt, and Deshaun Watson. He's a guy that is out there. Former Falcons GM Thomas Dimitroff has been interviewed. I mean, he got him to the Super Bowl. He got Julio Jones. He's responsible for Calvin Ridley, Matt Ryan. I mean, he's done some really good things. Right. Former Falcons assistant GM and Chiefs GM Scott Pioli. And then there's some interesting ones. Saints VP and assistant GM of pro personnel Terry Fontenot, and Saints VP assistant GM of college personnel Jeff Ireland. The
Ireland one is interesting. I think
draft well, man.
Ireland, yeah, he did draft draft well, but picked bad coaches.
Who?
'Cause
The Saints?
Ireland.
Who did
The
he?
Jeff didn't Jeff Ireland bring in Gase?
Jeff Ireland? No, he's Saint. He brought in.
No, when he was with Miami.
Let me see. I don't know too much.
I think Ireland was over with Miami. I think he was responsible for bringing in Gase, and then screwed the pooch. Yeah, but then went to the Saints and drafted well with the Saints. But I think the Saints already had a good scouting program before him, so I don't think he's responsible for.
Oh, he was a flat out.
There.
He was a flat out GM.
Yeah,
he had a general manager.
The Miami Dolphins.
No, don't want him. Get him out of here.
Yeah,
he already failed.
Yeah, that's why I'm not huge on. I mean, I love a fellow Jeff, but it just, not this one.
New York Jeffrey and Ireland's Jeffrey.
Yeah, I don't. Screw the Irish, those potato eating weirdos.
I'm having potato tacos tonight. How dare you?
Are you? I love Taco Bell's potato burrito.
Yeah, the potatoes are gone because we've been trying to do the whole vegan diet, and that was my go-to. I would put it on burritos, and like you can make whatever you want at Taco Bell as long as you use the ingredients they have. They took the potatoes off.
There's no more potatoes at Taco Bell.
Potatoes are gone.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
It's a crying shame.
Huh. Oh, so you're eating a lot of potatoes now, huh?
Oh, love a good potato.
Yeah, Irish weirdo. Are you Irish?
I am
Italian.
Irish. I'm what they call exotic.
Yes, I'm a spicy flavor of white guy.
Here's an interesting thing though on the Lions GM candidates. If it is in fact if it is in fact finalized, Colts assistant GM Ed Dodds, who I'm very high on, is not on that list.
Ed Dodds is not on that list.
He's not on this list.
Interesting. I wonder why they did not have a Dodds on that list.
I'll tell you who I don't want is Louis Riddick.
Yeah, Louis Riddick. Where's he from?
I looked into he's the Monday Night Football host, and he worked with the Eagles. He was the director of pro personnel for the Eagles like over a decade ago. And I looked at his resume is very underwhelming.
Oh yeah, no thanks on that. I don't or him or Jeff Ireland. I don't know. I think
I can get behind Scott Pioli. I can get behind, though. Scott Pioli is no, that's Ken Dorsey. Ken Dorsey's not on this list either.
Interesting. So I bet we probably won't know for a couple of weeks.
I guess an article I read today too is they're going through their preliminary interviews virtually before they get to the finalists, which they might do face to face. So it could be a long drawn out process, but if they're dragging their feet like this, we can miss out on people.
Yeah, I think they are trying to take their time and do their due diligence, but eventually they're gonna have to put their foot on the gas and pick hopefully a defensive-minded coach, because that means we keep the Stafford, I think.
A lot of articles out there emerging following the season saying, why would you not keep him?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are starting to realize, because also the spot we're drafting in, number 7, there's probably not going to be quarterbacks that we totally want by then.
All the mocks currently say the only one that could be there at 7 is Trey Lance.
Yeah, because
I'm into letting him sit behind Stafford. I'm intrigued by that guy.
True, but it's your top 10 first round pick, and if you do keep Stafford, you are kind of in a speedy, let's see how we can do this. You kind of want to try to get a defensive player at that pick, and then just pick a quarterback in the next couple years if you need to, or the year after.
We've been saying that for years.
True, but I mean, let's keep going. If we blow it up, we're going to be irrelevant for 3-4 years, and who's to say that quarterback even pans out? We could get ourselves a Josh Rosen. We already have
go get Josh Rosen.
We should just have him as our backup. He'd be cheaper than Chase Daniels.
Ooh.
Which, good Lord, I hate. But yeah, a lot of people are starting to say keep the offense and just retool the defense. I think Saleh could make the defense with what we have. Like I said, top 20. I think
I've been reading a lot too about like who could come over with Saleh. I mean, you could get a lot of guys on the cheap that want to come play for their coach and be part of something.
Yeah, I think
we get a new safety. Saleh.
Yeah, to get a new safety. I think to make this team a top 20 defense. I think you just need a little line help and linebackers.
We
I
get
think you need
Salah. Here are the players that could potentially come with him. Richard Sherman, who, with two very young cornerbacks in Amani Aruarie and Jeff Okudah, Richard Sherman would be
secondary's fine.
A home run.
Yeah, secondary. Don't worry about secondary. And then you just got, we still got Collins. We need 2 linebackers. Find one free agency, draft one. D line, you need a defensive tackle. And then this should be okay. At least enough to hold up.
You were cutting in and out a little bit, but I saw your facial motions.
Oh, my bad.
And
My back.
your gestures. You're back. I don't know if it's me or you. So you can hear me. I'm not cutting out. Anyway, let's not. Richard Sherman, home run. Agree with you. Yes. Let's get it done. Also, another corner that could come with him is Jason Verrett, who has gone through some injuries. This year is the first year that he's been able to play and not got hurt. And he has been a shutdown corner for the San Francisco 49ers. He's on a contract year this year. Salah is the reason they kept re-signing him despite his injuries. Loves him.
Interesting.
Would be interesting considering maybe Aruarie or Okudah needs a little bit more time. Sherman could shift up to safety. It's interesting to think about.
It is. And maybe he'd give us a little discount for his main man.
I think he has to because he's still, potentially injury,
Yeah, if he's got injury problems.
Kerry Hyder, the defensive end that used to be playing for the Lions, is he's been awesome for them.
I'd love him to come back. Come on back, Kerry. Never met him. I love a Kerry.
Let me hold on 1 sec. I'm coming right back. I got to see if anyone's on the internet. 1 sec.
Oh, okay.
Is anyone using their computer?
Hope we keep this in.
Are you using yours?
Zach, keep this in.
Okay. Can I see it real quick?
Yeah, I gotta blow my nose.
Okay, thank you. What's that?
I wonder if I should get off my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, just shut it off for 10 minutes.
Maybe that'll help.
Sorry, Jeff.
Are you gonna keep all that in?
I can't hear you. Damn it.
Can you hear me now? Maybe it's me.
We were cooking so hot.
I know. Is it me?
My speaker. Okay, you're there. You there? Let me see if... Can you hear me? Shake your head. Okay, I can't hear you, and that is frustrating. Let me try a different set of headphones.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at him. Oh, he's looking at the internet.
Come on.
I'm going to blow my dang nose. Oh, boy.
Z headphones. All right. Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Great.
Oh, it must have been the headphones.
That's upsetting because these are I like those headphones.
Maybe they ran out of juice.
I just charged them. All right, let's dive back in.
Maybe you thought you did, and then it wasn't totally plugged in. Sometimes I do that with my phone.
Maybe
where you put the cord in, you're like, all right, I'm good, but you don't actually look it and feel the vibration of it taking the juice. It's like a half plug, and then you walk away 2 hours later, and you're like, what the heck? What happened? And
it should be charged.
Yeah, you think it's the charger, but it was you for just not pushing the whole thing in the whole way. It's a classic thing. I think people do it all over the world.
You're really on today.
But we were saying
Kerry Hyder. And then the next one that could come over with him is Solomon Thomas, who was underwhelmed, but he was the 3rd overall pick in the 2017 draft. He's who they picked when Mitchell Trubisky, that trade happened with Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
280 pound. He would be good for our defensive line, and he is going to be cheap because he has underperformed in such a way.
Great, yeah. Just bring in some cheap boys and see what happens.
High potential guys too. And then the final guy that they say could come over is Jaquiski Tart, who was a safety who the way they talk about this guy is he is the guy who makes all the calls for Robert Saleh's defense. Like
Interesting.
he's the field general. And with his bat, Will Harris is as good as gone. Tracy Walker, he might get another chance. Duron Harmon, I don't think we're going to resign him.
I think Duron's gone.
If Saleh did come over, Jaquiski Tart, Tracy Walker, and Richard Sherman could end up being our safeties with Amani Aruarie, Verrett, and Akuda as our corners.
Boy, oh boy. I would love the name of our backfield too. Jaquiski Tart, Aruarie, Okuda. This is pretty sweet.
Don't forget about Jelani Tavi. Yeah, and then Sherman.
Like, get that Sherman out of here. Yeah, the Shermanator leads Jaquiski Tart, Okuda, Aruarie. You're like, what the heck? Yeah, and
the Detroit mouthful of marbles. That's our defensive backfield name. It's the mouthful marble you can't even say it. Marble mouthful.
yeah.
And then last but not least, to discuss the free agents that we have coming up, we've got a few. Marvin Jones, obviously.
People talking about how our cap isn't great, but after cuts, I think we're in decent cap shape.
I hope so, because we have a lot of guys. Jack Fox is exclusive rights free agent, so we have exclusive rights to him.
Keep him.
But a lot of unrestricted. Marvin Jones, Everson Griffin, Amendola, Duron Harmon, Prater, Romeo Arquara, Jared Davis, Daryl Roberts, Miles Killebrew, Don Muhlbach, Ode Abushi, Adrian Peterson, Mohamed Sanu, Tony McRae, Reggie Ragland, Kenny Galladay, Jalen Reeves-Meben, Jamal Agnew. Those are all unrestricted free agents.
Yeah, we got quite a few. But that's also, everyone's like, oh, our cap situation, but then we lose a lot of this, then we'll open up some room. Cut Jesse James, saves you some money.
Cut Jesse James, cut Justin Coleman, cut Desmond Trufant. We got to make some cuts for sure.
We can make some cuts and save some money. And bring back, I say bring back Sanu. I say if we can, maybe bring back Jones Jr. Tag and trade Kenny Galladay. Let's see. What else do I think we should do? Flowers? Boy, oh boy. I knew that contract was bad when it happened, and it's biting us in the ass now. I knew it.
But can defensive-minded Marvin Lewis or Robert Saleh get out of him what they need to get out?
Yeah, I think if you can get Trey Flowers he is good. He's just overpaid, I think.
Yeah.
So we need to make some room. But
we have to play him this year because if we were to cut or trade him, we're paying the dead money. It costs us money to cut or trade him this year.
Yeah, we have a few players. Stafford the same way. Everyone's saying get rid of Stafford. Going to hit us with some dead money. Trey Flowers dead money.
Stafford wouldn't hit us with dead money. It would save us money because I think his contract is. Let me see what his dead cap number is this year. But his dead money, Matthew Stafford is. His cap number this year is 2021. His cap number is 33 million. His dead cap is 19. Yeah. So we would end up saving what's 33 minus 19? 4? We would save $4 million.
Yeah.
Whereas Trey Flowers it would cost us.
Oh, okay. I knew that was a bad contract.
We can trade him next year. It would save us, I think, $11 million, but this year it would cost us 2021 31. It would cost us $12 million.
Yeah, all that money for a guy that sets the edge.
Yep.
Yeah, wild. Yeah, we could keep Romeo, obviously, and I think he would like to stay and play with his brother. So I think we could probably get a little deal there.
He's gonna get paid.
He'll get paid, but I think we can get a little deal with him to play with his little bro. I think so.
We'll see.
Let's use the heartstrings. Let's tug at him and save some money. You know what I mean?
Listen, you want a romantic story? There's no better starting than two boys named after William Shakespeare's classic romance.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a tragedy. It was tragic, Jeff.
Yep. Which is what's going to happen to the opposing quarterback.
Oh!
A tragedy. Yeah. So I think we're in better shape than people think.
All right.
There's money to save, and then from the money you save in the cuts, you could bring in some guys that the head coach would like. And I think our offense was running fine against the Vikes.
Yeah, I
It's
think
been
our
running
offense,
fine
we can.
without Galladay, with Jones and Sanu and Amendola. We were putting up 30 points a game.
Yeah,
That's
to keep
wild.
Stafford, if we were to keep Stafford, obviously we only have the 5 draft picks, but we can go all defense in those picks. Now let me get to the draft. We're sitting at the 7th pick. If you want to go ahead and come up with a trade scenario, by all means. But here are the likely candidates most often associated with the Detroit Lions: Trey Lance, quarterback, North Dakota State; Micah Parsons, linebacker, Penn State; Devontae Smith, wide receiver, Alabama, and currently odds-on favorite to win the Heisman; Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, Alabama, who's been hurt all this year, but he is a burner. That guy is fast. Jamar Chase, who they say is he's built like an Anquan Bolden, Steve Smith, Juju Smith-Schuster, but better. Last year for LSU, he was the best receiver in the league.
And I did love Anquan Bolden when he was with us.
He posted 20 touchdowns and almost 1,800 yards in that championship season with Joe Burrow.
That'd be
Those
good.
are some crazy numbers. Caleb Farley or Patrick Surtain, both cornerbacks. Farley out of Virginia Tech, Surtain out of Alabama. We're not taking a corner at 7.
No, we don't. We already took one. We don't need secondary.
Gregory Rousseau, edge out of Miami, who took the year off due to COVID, but last year he had put up 15 and a half sacks and 19 and a half tackles for loss. Kwity Paye, edge out of Michigan. He is associated. And then if he falls, Pinay Sewell, offensive tackle, Oregon, which if he falls, I mean, that our offensive line for years looks good then.
We would be set as it was crazy, but I don't think he's going to fall.
No, I think he goes to Cincinnati to protect Joe.
Yeah, they definitely need offensive line help. And I think personally we can wait till the 2nd on wide receiver. This is a good wide receiver draft, I believe.
But if we keep Stafford, we're not taking a wide receiver, right? We're going all D.
True. Yeah. That's why I don't think we need. I think we can wait. Yeah, or we can just not even do a wide receiver at all and just stick. I mean, Sanu was playing fine. I think if he got the ball to the guy and he was doing decent, and he's like not great.
Yeah.
Cephas, I think, will be good next year. I have a good feeling
great
about
catches
Cephas
this year. He sure did.
Yeah, I think he's actually going to turn into something really good. Out of all that, honestly, Parsons. We need linebacker help like crazy. That is our biggest hole in the team is linebacker.
This is what they say about him. Jamie Collins aside, the Lions rolled out arguably the most unathletic linebacking core in the league all season long. Opposing play callers just teed off on the group, especially in the play action game. Parson wouldn't fix all of that on his own, but he'd at least give the defense a chance to counter when offenses are tossing at Detroit on a weekly basis. And this is what they say again about him. He's probably an off-ball linebacker in the NFL, but really that's fine. He was unstoppable on offense as a running back in high school, as no one could. He believes he can run low 4.4s at the combine. Powerful, fast, agile. Penn State put him in the middle of its defense at linebacker, but he could have come in as a defensive end, and people might not have thought much of it. Athletically, he checks all the boxes. If he drops to 7, man, that would be exciting.
Yeah, that is definitely the guy that we want so much because linebackers. If we had Jamie Collins, Parsons, and I guess besides, I mean, a free agent that we bring in and who we have on the team currently, I guess Jared Davis. That's not a bad group.
Well, Davis, I think will be. I mean, geez, I don't know. You could put Parsons in the middle, but if you have Collins and Parsons on the outside, I mean, only the middle is open. And then all of a sudden, you think about that Tart, if he came with Saleh, or if Tracy Walker is coached up the right way, you got to figure out who's going to fill the middle there. But to be able to cover sideline to sideline, Jeff sends you a kiss too. I think that's a great way to shut it down. I think to be able to have Collins and Parsons simply able to play off ball, that would be just
Yeah.
It would be real sexy.
It would be very sexy. Yeah. And then we get rid of Tavai. And yeah, like I said, Walker, if he is, I heard Walker wasn't Walker playing out of position this season because of Harmon. So I
Tracy
think
Walker, I mean, he was playing safety. I don't know anything about if he was playing his
I believe I
true
read
safety spot.
I think I read a thing he was playing in he's play out of his natural position, and Harmon had his
Also,
old position.
let me go ahead and search this real quick because we could pick up a linebacker in the second round, and I believe there's one out of Alabama who's supposed to be a stud, and he's a middle.
Oh, okay. We do need a middle. I mean, we need all the linebackers. We need every linebacker we can get.
We can get into this when we hire a coach. Obviously, hopefully it's Robert Saleh, but you know who's on the last year of their contract and arguably the best middle linebacker in the NFL is Fred Warner, who has said nothing but incredible things about Robert Saleh and the idea of Jamie Collins on one side, Micah Parsons on the other side, and then Fred Warner in the middle. I mean, you're not getting through the second level.
Could you imagine next year if we get reports of Robert Saleh sitting in his car at 4 a.m. outside of Fred Warner's house?
Just with like really cool sunglasses on, and he's got a matching pair for Fred Warner. Those kind that Aaron Jones wears.
Just wait until it can go sign him and talk to him. You know, a classic Jim Schwartz. May he rest in peace.
Oh yeah, retiring, and so is your boy Kubiak.
Gary Kubiak's retiring.
That's what they say.
Gare Bear. We should have interviewed him. We should have tossed him an interview to keep talks. Jim Schwartz, hey, don't retire. Come be a defensive coordinator.
Yeah. The idea of Fred Warner and those linebackers, and I was gonna say something, but I can't remember what it was. So I guess that thought is just lost forever.
Did it float out of your brain?
Just
maybe. It'll come back.
Your beach is so windy, it blew the thought right out of my head.
Yeah,
if your beach was so windy, my hair would be blowing though.
That's right. Like I got a sweater.
Got a fan. Beach. Yeah. All right. Well, we covered a lot, and I think we're gonna have some more stuff to cover in depth when we get some the first big offseason acquisitions. I assume the next time that you and I will talk is when we hire a coach and a GM.
Want to do that? Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Great.
When both of them are in, we'll get the pass. I'll get some information on what they're done and what they've accomplished, and speculation as to what they could bring and what they're looking for, and we'll go from there.
Sweet. Great.
Jeff, this season has been far more successful than the Lions. LOL Lions season 1, massive success in comparison to
compared to the awful
the reason it's called LOL Lions.
God, I hope we get Saleh.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be hard to swallow a Marvin Lewis pill.
Yeah. Well, start drinking water, buddy.
Oh my God.
You can't dry swallow that one.
Yeah, but I have a lot of Cincinnati friends, and oh boy, I don't want to hear them.
Yeah, about what a terrible move we made.
Yeah. They're just dogging out. Oh, you have Marvin Lewis. I just expect this. I hate and expect this.
Oh yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
I want an unproven. I want a guy. Robert Saleh, get here. He's 41, 42. I mean, he could coach here for 20 years and still not be the age of retirement.
And you love a leader of men.
I love a leader of men. Until next time, Jeff. I love you.
I love you.